CNN?
CNN, because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard. It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump. Because of the hatred of this press corps. Do you have a top secret clearance, sir?
Eventually,
okay.
The American...
Jennifer, you've been about the worst. The one who misrepresents the most intentionally.
So why not acknowledge the female pilots that also participated in this mission? The early messages that you sent out.
I want to go to Daniel Dale, who is our fact checker, as you all know.
Fact checker. An employee for CNN is the fact checker. Clinton Jaws, please like this video. It's honestly the only thing I care about. Your likes.
The bombing in Iran was a resounding success. A resounding success. And the bombing in Iran was a resounding success. The bombing in Iran's nuclear facilities was a resounding success. A resounding... Shit, I forgot my line.
I thought Marco Rubio was the king of debate. But Hegseth, what I just watched today, this morning, the guy was completely on fire. You guys are probably wondering, why is the Trump administration going so hard against the woke media? Because they have to. They have to fight them. What really grossed me out when I was a police officer, the news were not our friends. They were our enemies. Every chance they got, they would report inaccurately on purpose. And my bosses always said, hey, we need to have a good relationship. We need to have a good relationship with the news. No, we don't. Not when they sit there and lie about us. And Trump is the same way, and I love it. We should have fought back. We didn't, and they won. Hegseth in a minute. We're going to start with Carolyn Levitt. Just a second of Carolyn Levitt on Fox News last night. Lip gloss Levitt, love it.
No other president in history could have ever dreamed of such a success, and that's exactly why the fake news media is now trying to demean and undermine the president. And we've seen this playbook be run before. You have hostile actors within the intelligence community who illegally leak bits and pieces of an intelligence assessment to push a fake news narrative. And that's what the CNN story was yesterday. And it's not a coincidence that it was written by the exact same CNN reporter who wrote the original story, falsely alleging that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation.
I watch CNN because of my job, and let me tell you, if they're not saying it, they have people come on that they interview that put a negative spin on everything that Trump does.
Because it was under President Trump's leadership, because Americans are responding to him as commander-in-chief, the press corps doesn't want to write about him.
Sounds right.
I'll bring us to the topic of the moment, the highly successful strikes in Iran. Let me read.
The bombing in Iran was a resounding success.
Let me read the bottom line here. President Trump directed the most complex and secretive military operation in history, and it was a resounding success, resulting in a ceasefire agreement and the end of the 12-day war, decimating, choose your word, obliterating, destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities. I want to read some of the assessments that have been provided, because whether it's fake news, CNN, MSNBC, or the New York Times, there's been fawning coverage of a preliminary assessment. I've had a chance to read it. Every outlet has breathlessly reported on a preliminary assessment from DIA. I'm looking at it right now. It points out that it's not been coordinated with the intelligence community at all. There's low confidence in this particular report. It says in the report there are gaps in the information. It says in the report,
wait for it,
multiple linchpin assumptions are what this assessment, a linchpin assumption, you know what that is? That means your entire premise is predicated on a linchpin. If you're wrong, everything else is wrong. And yet, still, this report acknowledges it's likely severe damage. Again, this is preliminary, but leaked because someone had an agenda to try to muddy the waters and make it look like this historic strike wasn't successful. But here's what other folks are saying. The DIA that put that report out says that this is a preliminary low-confidence report and will continue to be refined as additional intelligence becomes available. The devastating U.S. strikes on Fordow destroyed the site's critical infrastructure and rendered the enrichment facility inoperable. Have any of these quotes made their way into the New York Times or the Washington Post? MSNBC? CNN? Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump, because you want him not to be successful so bad, you have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective.
Yeah.
Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours? Has MSNBC done that story?
Did you know that? 18 hours there, 18 hours back.
Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what it's like to man a Patriot battery? Or how hard it is to refuel midair? Giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was. There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that because of the hatred of this press corps are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots. How about we celebrate that? How about we talk about how special America is, that only we have these capabilities? I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news. So we're used to that.
So true.
But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word.
Question period. This is where it gets good. This is so good. He's on fire.
And the bombing in Iran was a resounding success. A resounding success. We are the news now. 3 a.m. talking points. Mockingbird Media. No more 3 a.m. talking points and Mockingbird Media. A resounding success.
Just 3 or 4 days later.
See, this is a point. This is how difficult it is to actually manage. You just watched a video of what this weapon is capable of. That's where we find our confidence.
They showed a video. Maybe I'll show a short clip of it right here.
Unlike a normal surface bomb, you won't see an impact crater.
This guy here asks a stupid question and then shakes his head at the end.
And that's what he's basing it on.
Do you think we need to see that?
Do you have a top secret clearance, sir?
Eventually, the American public wants to see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask briefly just.
No, not you. Checkered shirt.
Oh, so Mike Glenn with the Washington Times.
Yes, sir.
Want to hear a stupid question? This is what's wrong with the media. Just listen to this.
Mr. Chairman, a question for you. Have you been pressured to change your assessment or give a more rosy intelligence assessment to us by any political factors, whether it's the president or the secretary? And if you were, would you do that?
Yeah, that one's easy. No, no, I have not, and no, I would not. I've never been pressured by the president or the secretary to do anything other than tell them exactly what I'm thinking, and that's exactly what I've done.
There's nothing that I've seen that suggests that we didn't hit exactly what we wanted to hit in those locations.
That's not the question, though. It's about highly enriched uranium. Do you have...
Here comes Karen.
In those locations.
That's not the question, though. It's about highly enriched uranium. Do you have certainty that all the highly enriched uranium was inside the Fordo Mountain, or some of it, because there were satellite photos that showed more than a dozen trucks there 2 days in advance? Are you certain none of that highly enriched uranium was moved?
Of course, we're watching every single aspect, but Jennifer, you've been about the worst.
She's the worst. I wouldn't have thought that given her haircut. A lady who has completely given up on life.
Jennifer, you've been about the worst. The one who misrepresents the most intentionally what the president says. I'm familiar.
Ventilation shafts on Saturday night. And in fact, I was the first to describe the B-2 bombers, the refueling, the entire mission with great accuracy. So I take issue with that.
I appreciate you acknowledging that this was the first the most successful mission based on operational security that this department has done since you've been here, and I appreciate that. So we're looking at all aspects of intelligence and making sure we have a sense of what was where.
So why not acknowledge the female pilots that also participated in this mission? The early messages that you sent out only congratulated the boys.
What about
So
the
when I say
girls?
something like our boys and bombers, see, this is the kind of thing the press does, right? Of course, the chairman mentioned a female bomber pilot. That's fantastic.
I just got to say something. The principal at my daughter's school told them that they don't call it tug of war anymore. It's called tug of peace. They were supposed to do tug of peace yesterday. But on the way to school, the principal was listening to the radio, and somebody on the radio recommended don't do tug of peace because the kids might break their legs. And this man is supposed to be a man. It just makes me sick how woke the world still is. And my daughter told me it because she wanted to see my crazy reaction. Because she knows it's insane. She was looking forward to tug of peace.
See, this is the kind of thing the press does, right? Of course, the chairman mentioned a female bomber pilot. That's fantastic. She's fantastic. She's a hero. I want more female bomber pilots. I hope the men and women of our country sign up to do such brave and audacious things. But when you spin it as, because I say our boys and bombers as a common phrase, I'll keep saying things like that, whether they're men or women. Very proud of that female pilot, just like I'm very proud of those male pilots. And I don't care if it's a male or a female in that cockpit, and the American people don't care. But it's the obsession with race and gender in this department that's changed priorities. We don't do that anymore. We don't play your little games. Yes,
Do you
right
know
there.
for certain that uranium was removed from the facility before the B-2 struck?
So I'm not aware of any intelligence that I've reviewed that says things were not where they were supposed to be.
And I love this part. I kept on watching CNN, and immediately they go to a fact checker, a CNN employee fact checker.
I want to go to Daniel Dale.
3 a.m. talking points. Mockingbird Media. We are the news now. Because we are the news now. Mockingbird Media. 3 a.m. talking points. Mockingbird Media.